Welcome back to Just Ask Sarge. What are we going to talk about today? That's right, fire extinguisher safety. But before we get into the fire extinguisher, we need to learn about the basic fundamentals of a fire and what makes a fire, which makes the purpose of a fire extinguisher. How many elements are required to make a fire? Three. There are 3 elements required that makes a fire exist. The first being fuel, oxygen, and heat. Without those 3 elements, you will not have a fire. So the purpose of the fire extinguisher is to remove one or more of those elements to retard the fire. How many classes of fires can be found on a job site and/or your home? 4. That is correct. The first being alpha. Alpha is a combustible fire, which consists of materials such as wood, paper, and trash. The second class being Bravo, which consists of flammable liquids such as gas, oil, and paint. You're probably noticing a pattern that these are all items that can be found on a job site and your home. The third class being Charlie, which is electrical equipment. We deal with electrical equipment in all aspects of construction and within our household. There is a 4th class, D, Delta, for combustible metals. But we are not going to cover combustible metals today, as it is not presenting itself in our daily job site and our daily home practice. Let's now discuss where we would place fire extinguishers. Fire extinguishers should be positioned close to hazards within your job site, in your home, and/or the exits of your job site and/or the building that you're in. You do not want an employee or yourself to travel how far? That's right, no more than 50 feet to retrieve a fire extinguisher. If you have to travel more than 50 feet to retrieve a fire extinguisher to put out a fire, your best bet is to probably look for the closest exit and get out of the building. Safety first. Let's take a look at the fire extinguisher. Hey, that was easy. So this is a fire extinguisher. Probably recognize these. You see them everywhere. You'll see a red cylindrical shape. You will see the extinguishing hose. You will see a pressure gauge, a handle, and a pin. So of course, before we do anything, as with any tool, this is a tool, we have to do proper preventive maintenance checks and services to ensure that this fire extinguisher is in proper operating order. So when I look at this, as it should be inspected monthly, I'm going to make sure that the cylinder itself does not have rust, rot, decay, or dents. I'm going to look at the hose. I'm going to make sure that it has freedom of movement. I'm going to look for any decay or cracks in the hose and ensure that the connection up here has a good connection. I'm going to look at the temperature gauge. The pressure gauge. You want the needle to be in the green. That means that the fire extinguisher has a full charge and is ready to go. I'm going to look at the handle, and I'm going to make sure that the handle is not bent, warped, cracked, broken, missing, and ensuring that it has a retention pin with a bracket that is stopping it from being pulled unless the case of an emergency. So all of this looks pretty good. I am also looking at a tag showing that the fire extinguisher has been inspected for its annual inspection by a certified inspector. This is up to date 2020. So if we are going to fight a fire with this, how do we know how to use this? What do we do? P.A.S.S. That's right. P.A.S.S. is an acronym for pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. So what that means is you are going to pull the pin. Nope, don't pull. No. Okay. That fire requires another class of fire extinguisher, K or kilo, for high explosives that we are not going to go in today. Let's go back to P.A.S.S. So when you pick up the fire extinguisher, you will pull the pin. You will stand 8 feet back from the fire. You will aim the nozzle at the base of the fire, where the fire is starting from. I'm going to squeeze the handle, and then I'm going to sweep. The fire extinguisher is only going to go off for about 10 to 15 seconds before its contents are expired. If you are unable to put the fire out with that fire extinguisher, it might be in your best interest to exit the building and call 911. So now that we understand the elements of a fire, the classes of fire extinguishers, practices of inspection, and how to use a fire extinguisher, who mandates the standard of this fire extinguisher? That's right, the NFPA, which is the National Fire Protection Association. It is their job to ensure that the fire extinguishers that we have on our job sites and in our homes meets the highest standard so that we can either save property and or lives. Does anybody have any questions at this point? Outstanding. So again, good job.